Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coin Lady channel. Do we no longer need to pre-fund nostro vostro accounts if we use RippleNet and on-demand liquidity? So, the answer is, without a doubt, yes. Is pre-funding unnecessary if on-demand liquidity is used in conjunction with RippleNet? And the solution is complex and multifaceted. Thus, there may be instances where pre-funding is required. Pre-funding through on-demand liquidity, combined with the absence of nostro vostro accounts, avoids many of the problems associated with the former, such as the high costs associated with maintaining them and the inconvenient necessity of maintaining a large number of separate accounts in order to access the funds in question. However, you should be aware that certain people throughout the years have made the misleading claim that Ripple does not address many of these concerns. This is also not correct. And I'll explain, and we'll have a nuanced conversation about this. Although it is not the case at present, if it were the case, using XRP as a bridge currency through Ripple's on-demand liquidity would be both faster and cheaper than the traditional financial system and SWIFT, which it is not. It's a triumph in any case. If you're trying to convince people that you don't need nostro vostro accounts, you're not only wrong, you're literally wrong. But again, even if this were the truth, it seems to me that the folks making this claim are simply refusing to admit that there must be a good reason for the meteoric rise in Ripple's on-demand liquidity clientele. That wouldn't be happening if there wasn't a better option. In the summer of this past year, Ripple reported an increase in volume of 800 to 900% for their on-demand liquidity. This was no fluke. To that end, I'd like to relay some thoughts from Ripple CTO David Schwartz, who was instrumental in developing both XRP and the XRP ledger. But before we go any further, I should state that I have zero experience in the financial sector. You should not buy or sell anything based on anything I say or write because I am not giving financial advice. Just a hobbyist here that occasionally posts films to YouTube on various crypto-related topics. Okay, so I read an article on you today. Twitter thread you're currently viewing, Ripple CTO David Schwartz clarifies XRP pre-funding strategy among debates. I blocked someone on Twitter a while back whose handle is "scams are bad" because, well, I could already tell that this person is intellectually dishonest. So it wasn't like it cared about fans anyhow. He was accused of taking someone's identity, however. And, I'm done with this guy, but he causes so much FUD and is so intellectually dishonest that he gets some attention from others in the community despite it. I don't know what motivates him, but he's arguing that Ripple and everything to do with XRP is a hoax. He has expressed similar ideas. So, he began this correspondence with the following message. So he posted a screenshot of it here. For the time being, I'm going to make this full screen. The following was supposedly written to address the made-up pre-funding issue with the nostro vostro service, but it turns out to be a screenshot from official Ripple literature. Create a RippleNet account, then create many nostro vostro or DAI accounts, and pre-fund each of them. If I understand it correctly, a nostro account is essentially my money in your bank, and a vostro account is your money in my bank. Thus, the same idea. The question is, from what angle are we talking about it? However, as before, that's something banks do. So when you talk about using XRP as a bridge currency in place of those, you've effectively done away with the need for nostro vostro accounts in such situations. That's the case if you want to get the full meaning out of the words you're using. Does this imply that pre-funding of any kind is no longer possible? No, but I'm presenting a more sophisticated case than his. And then he starts saying this. All this is what you see on your screen. This is stated in the official Ripple documentation. He penned, such connections usually allow me to jump in at the top, suggesting that this is the case. The following is an excerpt from the official documentation on sending money with Ripple. The first step is to network with similar professionals. The establishment of nostro, vostro, or digital asset accounts are standard components of such partnerships. Swap bank records. Okay. However, settling through the traditional financial system is what is meant when a nostro vostro account is opened, not XRP. And that distinction, I think you'll agree, is quite important, and he's not making it. If you're going to say things like, hey, look, here's Ripple solving the notion of roster problem, but then have nostro vostro make it seem like a fraud, then you're right. Actually, you don't have to use the traditional financial system unless you want to. In that case, you wouldn't be making use of the concept anyhow. That means it's all an act. This is the kind of verbal juggling this guy engages in. He deliberately chooses his words in order to throw others off. But that's not the case at all. You can see what Ripple recommends for setting up a digital asset exchange below. To use on-demand liquidity, you need to perform the following set of steps directly with the digital asset exchange or exchanges you plan to use. Here's another aspect he emphasized: set up your source exchange account in advance and fund it. Okay, but how about a credit line? Do you understand what a line of credit is? This is simply a heads up to make sure everyone has their place settings in order. A piece of Ripple wisdom is provided below. This is the canonical Ripple blog. Starting on October 8, 2020, you can use a line of credit from RippleNet to instantly fund payments across borders. And this is the section I need to read, a very brief excerpt. This, then, is what Ripple of the year 2020 wrote. Our line of credit through Ripple is the answer to this issue. The smaller banks that make up the majority of the legacy financial system don't have Nostro Vostro accounts because they lack the capital to have money parked all over the damn planet. This is something I'll mention first because it's important to the discussion at hand. In order to gain access to this global network of Nostro accounts, smaller and medium-sized banks would often pay their larger competitors to do so. Yes, it is the case at that location. Here's what Ripple has to say about their line of credit. Ripple's line of credit solves this problem for our customers by providing upfront access to capital for every market through one simple credit arrangement, simplifying access to financial solutions that accelerate business performance and scale. Customers pay a flat rate based on the total amount borrowed, and they can get approved much more quickly than they would with more conventional loan methods. Customers of RippleNet can take advantage of a single, streamlined XRP-based arrangement anywhere on-demand liquidity is offered, at a significant discount to the vast majority of alternative credit choices, independent of the destination of the sender's funds or the fiat currency used. To put it another way, if you use the traditional banking system, you are borrowing money from someone else. When you take out a line of credit, you are still borrowing money from another person or institution. I already mentioned that this isn't the line of credit in this scenario. We are not in a case of Nostro Vostro. It's not the same. If you're attempting to make it sound like the same thing, you're just using the incorrect words. It's important to remember that you'll need to set aside money before you can get started on any of this. Okay. But to point out how scams are bad is to imply that Ripple has only recreated the same flawed system, which is why it isn't any better. Simply said, it lacks intellectual integrity. Because it's so much quicker and cheaper, I keep witnessing this same sleight of hand from him. David Schwartz added that there are other advantages as well. As a result, David Schwartz wrote the following in response to the frauds are evil argument. The objective is to avoid having to pre-fund in every market where a payment might be necessary. Pre-funding can be done in a single account, and funds can be transferred to any on-demand liquidity destination market. Those who are already there will undoubtedly profit from this. You can get along without any money. In addition, there is more to it than the fact that you can forget about pre-funding altogether if you make use of a line of credit. You're not a customer if you're a Ripple customer. Simply put, you're using Ripple's XRP as a loan. Now, David Schwartz contributed as well. You can make a purchase with one asset and make a payment with another. In contrast to pre-funding Mexican pesos to make USD to MXN payments, parking USD to make USD to MXN payments is a quite different circumstance. In response to David Schwartz's inquiry, a member of the XRP community named Cashta jumped in and penned the accompanying documentation. That screenshot I just showed you suggests that Ripple is fronting the money for these accounts so that customers can access their money whenever they choose, as per the terms of their purchase agreement. Is that the case? If so, what sort of preliminary finance is being referred to? It was replied and written that scams are awful. If you use their line of credit, you can do that. If you don't want to pay for it yourself, you'll have to use your own cash to reply and write. In addition, I'd like you to admit that the line of credit addresses the Nostro Vostro issue you made fun of Ripple for addressing by pre-funding itself. Based on your prior tweet, I have no reason to believe you don't already know this. In other words, the very concept of voter accounts is non-existent. If you answered yes, you have no idea what the earth of Vostro account, Nostro account, or voter account is. Fraud, however, is forbidden. Scams are awful, they said, and I said, no, that doesn't fix anything. It merely transfers the cost to another party. Indeed, you are using a line of credit to withdraw XRP from Ripple. Or, if you use the conventional financial system, you are indeed borrowing money from larger institutions. If you argue it doesn't solve anything, though, you're either grossly misinformed about the system's advantages or being dishonest with yourself. I'm going to have to give this guy the benefit of the doubt and assume he's right. I don't understand this guy's motivation, but he just keeps repeating untrue claims over and over again. My interactions with him have been like that. According to what he's saying, this is a non-starter. So, if you're right and scams are terrible, why the hell are so many people using Ripple's XRP and adopting this kind of technology? What insider information do you have that the public doesn't? Exactly how is Ripple misleading its paying clients into making use of this technology? What kind of trickery is this? Therefore, it's clear that he's mistaken to claim there are no advantages. But again, even if he were accurate that this doesn't solve Nostro Vostro, he's completely ignoring the increased speed, which results in a better customer experience and a significant amount of money saved. Whatever is. Scams are awful, David Schwartz said in response. Furthermore, he made a statement. Because Ripple already has so much XRP on hand, this is a cost-effective move. It costs us next to nothing to pre-fund an XRP. The fact that Ripple assumes some credit risk means that we must pass the cost forward to users. As you can see, the price tag for this is practically nil. That's a major deviation from the situation where a smaller bank uses a Nostro account belonging to a larger bank competitor. Your money is no longer going to the much larger bank that was your only other option. Since you're using Ripple's technology, you're skipping out on fees to the bigger bank that your competitor uses. That could be seen as a plus by certain people. Who wants to fork out cash to their larger rival just so they have access cash? However, Ripple does hoard a considerable amount of XRP, and idle currency serves no useful purpose. They must have an excessive supply, right? It's common knowledge. And so, now you don't have to use the slow, inefficient, and archaic old method to achieve this at all. Definitely an improvement. Ripple acknowledged the possibility that the XRP wouldn't be returned or that anything else would go wrong. Therefore, a fee should be imposed in order to compensate for the potential loss. However, even so, it is a better system than that. There is a good reason why both on-demand liquidity and XRP are often used for this function. This is precisely what I expected and indicated in my previous comment. Custer, a member of the XRP community, responded to David Schwartz. The capital cost is practically negligible, so at least we know frauds are terrible. In the nation's capital, this is without parallel. David Schwartz confirmed my assumption that risk refers to the likelihood of not receiving payment for invoiced XRP. Right. The possibility that the customer won't repay us for the XRP is not zero. Consider the situation where a consumer has a significant amount of money in a bank that subsequently collapses or declares bankruptcy. There you have it. Therefore, it's completely clear that this actually helps. The motivations of this individual remain a mystery to me. But I just can't believe he's being honest about it. There is no way to miss it. Then there are David Schwartz's remarks about how, the cost for all of this is like it's nearly zero. If you actually think this isn't addressing an issue, you'll realize that scams are horrible. He's at a loss for words right now. There was no reaction from him. He keeps his tongue quiet since he knows he's incorrect. He's making stuff up, it's not true. That's why I'm relieved to finally have shredded it. In any case, if you want to argue that there is still pre-financing used in this particular implementation of the Ripple system, I couldn't care less. For the reasons explained by David Schwartz and elaborated upon by me, this is a significant improvement. It's so blatantly clear it's ridiculous. I couldn't care less. Please, I know you all understand, but bear with me while I try to explain this a little bit more thoroughly. Give me your feedback. No, I don't give out financial advice. Nothing I say or write should be used as a basis for making financial decisions. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.